Welcome to another episode of Queen3 and King. Fake energy, fake energy, fake energy. How y'all doing today? This is Queen3 and King. We keep it real. We don't fake the front. Sometimes we pull back the curtains. And usually I end the episode trying to give a hint as to what next week's episode is. Well, in our pre-show meeting, Mika came up with the new episode, which is how to block your blessings by running your mouth. Because that's what she did. So other folks are going to get to enjoy her
Yes,
blessings.
she did.
So thank
No,
Mika
she's
for
not.
that.
Because what's for me is for me is what my Bible says.
And it sounds like she in her feelings, which brings us to today's episodes. In your feelings.
In that face. Fix your face, baby.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Because she in her feelings and we can see it. So we're going to ask the question, can people make us feel a certain way? Are we in charge of our feelings or are other people? Should we expect us out of others? Find out all this and more on this episode of Queen3 and King. In addition, we got our segment tight now. The streets are talking. So the baby queen, Mama Lee, will be giving her assessments of what's going on in these streets today. Again, we want to thank GoldenEye Creations, Chico, and Kedak Productions, Kiki, for always coming through when we need you. If you need them for your podcast needs, your business cards, your flyers, graphics, video, your family reunion video, it don't matter how big or how small it is, they can help you with it. And now this brings me to our co-host, and I'm going to introduce them. Starting out of East Garland, Texas, at the Black Rec Center.
Yes, the Black Rec, baby.
2 3/4 inch tall. Mika, will you be quiet so I can give my introduction?
Oh my goodness.
Skinny Minnie, Boney Maroney, Darling Nikki, Coco, the grandma herself. What up, Queen?
Oh, hey, everybody. T.
That's all right. I'm skipping her introduction. Go ahead.
Hey, y'all. I have to tell y'all something real quick that happened to me today, if I can. So I'm at the high school picking up my senior and parking at the same spot that I've parked in for almost 8 years now with the two youngest kids. On up there at Garland High School. Y'all know what I'm talking about, on Garland Road. The cop was out there passing out tickets, parking tickets, because we can't park in our normal spots anymore. And nobody told us.
Ain't that something?
I said, now, Mr. Officer,
ain't that
I've been parking the same spot for 8 years.
And now, to all of our viewers, you know what we mean by first world problems.
Yeah.
Basically.
You got to walk for a few extra feet.
She probably had to
you didn't want to mess them braids. You didn't want to mess them new braids up on the first day, did you?
I always park. I park there all the time.
Well, we saw. Do you need to start a petition? And we can get some of our viewers to start it?
Yes, I do.
All right, we'll send that out right after this.
Right away.
Change.org.
And the next, out of Okmulgee, Oklahoma, the baby queen, Mama Lee, Blake Mama. What up, Queen?
Hey, y'all. Happy Tuesday. You got skipped.
All right, now we're going to get right into the show. If you keep acting, I'm going to kick you out the studio. All right. And last but not least, out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, voted Queen Tulsa in 2013. Standing at 5 foot 1 3/4 inch tall. Meba, the educator. What up, Queen?
Good evening.
See, I should have stuck with my skip. Somebody done told her that voice is hidden on something, and it ain't.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Oh.
All right. We got a couple of viewers we want to touch bases with. We got Aunt Marita. Hi, family.
Hey,
How you doing? How you doing? We got H-Rap, Texas H-Rap in the house. Good evening,
Hey,
Queen
Brian.
King. We had a fantastic show today on Built for This Network, Build and Destroy. Fantastic show. You got to catch him 5 o'clock Central Time on Tuesdays. He's a fantastic pre-show to Queen3 and King. You watch him, you have just enough time to go grab you a quick bite. You had a heavy lunch anyway, so you don't need to be eating that big at dinner. And then get the Queen 3 and King. That's the way you should do it.
Yep.
I'll take it herself, Miss Lena. If you got any leftovers that you don't want,
I'll take it.
Don't do that.
And Aunt Linda's in the house. Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
Hi, Linda.
Happy birthday, baby queen. Yes, how could we forget today is the
Happy
baby
birthday,
queen's birthday.
Happy birthday to
Thank you.
Anything you want to say to the folks for your birthday?
No.
All right, good. Let's go to the next comment. Sabrina Looney says, good evening, Incredibles.
Oh, hi, Sabrina.
Just look over.
Her birthday passed anyway because she was born in the morning hours. Charlotte Wilson says, good evening, everyone. And hey, we appreciate the support. And she joined the Queen 3 and King page today. We sure appreciate you.
Hey, Charlotte.
So appreciate you. So we're going to get into this, all right? In your feelings. Everybody know what that means, and everybody know they done been in your feelings. In fact, what's her name? Jasmine Sullivan said, pick them up. Pick up your feelings if you're in them. So this is the question we're going to start with. Can people, and I put in quotation marks, make us feel a certain way? Can people make us feel a certain way? And we're going to start with the elderly queen. She's from the regime back when Mao Zedong was running, back when the Roman Empire was still great. What you got?
You're really trying to make me backslide.
Talk to us. Can people make us feel a certain way?
I think so. Absolutely. I think they can.
Okay.
Right.
You don't want to elaborate? This is a show. You just got to say something.
I do. I really think they can. Now, they can make us feel a certain type of way, but we're in control of our own self, our own feelings. But people can definitely make you feel a certain type of way.
Okay. I'll get back to you in a minute on that. Let's go to the unprofessional one there, the educator who wants to lean all off on camera. See, that's why you didn't know it, but your drawers were showing when you leaned over.
You lied because I got a whole dress on. I just came straight in from work on you boys.
All right, so talk to us. Can people make us feel a certain way? And the key word there is make us feel a certain way.
Yes, they can make us feel a certain type of way, but they should not make us feel a certain type of way because you're in control of your feelings and your thoughts and how you move, how you act, and how you respond. So yes, people can make us feel a certain type of way, but it's up to us how we react in the way they make us feel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Baby Queen, what you got?
Ooh, yes, I think that people can make us feel a certain type of way because feelings are involved. And as we know, hurt people hurt people.
Period.
So
they
can definitely make you feel some type of way and hurt your feelings. But again, you do have to be in control of your feelings. So sometimes in certain situations, maybe they didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Sometimes I try to take the emotion out of it and then look at how I respond. Because I used to be pop-off queen, but I am saved and sanctified and delivered.
Hallelujah.
All right. So Charlotte commented again. She said, good evening. And then she said, y'all are so much fun. I have to join. We thank you.
Oh, thank you, Charlotte.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Lena said, we allow people to make us feel a certain way. And I think that's a fantastic point. Charlotte says, I think people's actions cause us to feel like an action that creates a reaction.
Yeah.
All right. And BS3.
What
Ben,
up?
Frederick the third, also known as Trey Ben, says good evening. And let me be the first to say, Ben, you put the BS in BS3 radio.
Oh my
God. We do not agree with him, Ben.
Charlotte says the importance of people in our lives put a value in their actions, and that's what causes us to react and feel a certain way. Okay, so my take on it is I would have to concur that people's, I don't know that I'm a little bit of a legalist, so to speak, and and I kind of take things at face value. That's why this spirituality thing works for me, because I take it at face value, right? And so I'm not a fan of saying anybody can make me do anything, right? Since Wilma Jean,
tread lightly about my mama.
She know what I'm talking about, and if she listening,
Beat Joe.
Tread lightly about my mama.
Since Wilma Jean and I moved off from under her roof, can't nobody make me do nothing, right? They can suggest it, they can influence it, they can whatever, but at the end of the day, it is my decision as to what happens with that, right? But yes, they do influence our feelings, and they can get us in our feelings and get us feeling a certain way, right? So I started with that question, figuring it would be a relatively easy answer, in that, yeah, people can do some stuff that make us feel a certain kind of way. And if you don't know that, pay attention to politics and discussions on that, pay attention to religion and discussions on that, pay attention to family and your discussions on who you with and who you not with, pay attention to a whole bunch of stuff. So people can make us feel a certain kind of way, but as the panel has said, it is up to us what we do with that feeling. And let's see if we got any more comments on that. Lena says, somebody cut me off on the road. I cursed them smooth out. They didn't make me do that, because I could have just said Jesus, but I chose to curse.
Exactly. That part.
Exactly. So they didn't make you do nothing. So next question is, are we in charge of our feelings, or are other people? We're going to start with the baby queen on this. Are we in charge of our feelings, or are other people in charge of our feelings?
We are in charge of our feelings. I think that, we are in charge of our feelings. I think it's something that we have to, like I say, you have to think before you react. Mm-hmm. So I try not to pop off, and especially in the workplace, it's going to be stuff that happens to you all the time. Mm-hmm. And I have to be in charge of the way I process that.
Be still, like mama uses, be still. Be
you got in your pants.
The way I process it, the way I respond.
All right, cool. And because you can't be still, we're gonna skip you again. Nikki, tell us what you think. Are we in charge of our feelings, or are other people?
No, I absolutely think that we're in charge of our own feelings. In charge of our own feelings. Why is she showing out today?
Oh Lord, y'all the only one.
She was at Walmart before the show, and they made her feel some type of way. So we're in charge of it. Go ahead, Nicole.
Yes, we are. I do believe that we are all in charge of our own feelings, especially when it's an issue with. I know Alicia talked about the workplace, but especially when it's an issue with family, sometimes it can be even more so. That could even make you and your feelings even more than you would ordinarily be with somebody else, simply because of the fact that that's a person that you love, that you respected, that and some of the things that they could say, it may not be something that you ever think that they would say to you, and that it could hit you really hard. Okay. So we got to be mindful of, it's not what you say, but it's how you say it.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna give Queen Mika B opportunity to act right and ask her this question: are we in charge of our feelings, or are other people?
We are in charge, but we do give people access to our feelings.
Right.
So as long as we allow people in, they influence the feelings that we may have towards something or a situation or someone, but we are in charge of our feelings, but they have access to it and can influence what we do.
Okay, so before I give my answer, what of this access that you speak of? Should we be more selective?
Yes.
With that access?
Yes. Because, I'm just example, somebody who's always down and out and negative will soon influence your feelings about, especially if you're on a job. If somebody doesn't like their job,
that's very true.
It's not or somebody doesn't like their relationship, you start looking at your mate like, I don't like him, or hey, she said this earlier, so I'm just so down and out about him. And that's not even what you were feeling, but you were influenced. And so that gets into your mind. And so that influence has some type of effect on what you do.
Yeah.
All right, I'm getting a little echo, I think, out of yours, maybe, Mika. I don't know if it's because your head looked bigger today and you're closer to the laptop.
Oh my God.
Turn your volume down or something, and I'm going to try to turn mine down a little bit and see if that can't help a little bit. Okay, so for me, when we ask, are we in charge of our feelings or are other people? It is absolutely we are in charge. And in fact, last night on the forecast, that's the podcast I do with H-Rap, who's in the building. Brian Williams is what he's listed as, Ben of BS3 Radio, and Mayhem, which is David Wilkes. We had another good show last night reviewing Summer of Soul, right? And this was the Harlem Cultural Festival from 1969. And in that, watching that documentary, it spoke to me with regard to our creativity, right, as a people, right, and then as individuals. And one of the things I said on the podcast is that we have to separate ourselves from whatever kills our creative energy, and we need to flock to those things, those people, places, and things that benefit or bonify or encourage or edify our creative energy. And so I'll extend that a little bit tonight and say that we need to be around people who makes those feelings more positive more often. I'm not everybody will make you feel some type of way from time to time. And guess what? Half the time or better, the majority of the time, that's unintentional, right? They didn't try to make you feel a certain kind of way. They may have told a joke at the wrong time. They may have pulled a prank at the wrong time, like when I played like Nikki Carr got stole that morning.
I almost got shot.
That was my favorite joke.
So, yes, people can make us feel a certain way. We are in charge of our feelings. And if people are causing that reaction more often than not, you need to check the expiration date, okay? And see, because some folks got a shelf life and they were only meant to be there for a reason or for a season, and not necessarily for life. And I'm not going to chase you for your healing.
That's what he said. Not gonna
so we're going to get to a couple of comments, but in all seriousness, check that your energy means something. Your energy is connected to your spirituality. And if your energy ain't right, go ahead, Mika, since you raised your hand like a good student.
I thought she was praising at first. What I
Oh, she was tipping out of church, one of the two.
I started thinking about Nikki getting that car.
And about Ted getting shot.
And the police were on their way, guys.
They were.
Yep.
We'll tell that story next week.
The next family show, we need to tell that.
Oh, yeah, that'd be a good family show.
Oh, my God.
Teg, I know you veered off and talked about your podcast last night. I just want a little side note. Guys, Teg does a beauty of the week on that podcast every week. Yep. Every time that they do it, please, from the bottom of my heart, tell them your beauty of the week.
I'm going to do this.
I
want to read a couple of comments, and I want Brian H-Rap to type, if he's still listening, I'm going to give him an opportunity to type in the beauty of the week, and then I'll tell you why she was that. And let's see. So he says, so H-Rap, speaking of him, he goes, yes, we are in charge. Lena says, we are in charge of our feelings. So whatever we allow to come over us, we are responsible for. Our reactions is solely on us. Wow. Or are, either way. And Grace Rabia Wood says, yes, we are in charge of our own feelings. We are the captain of our ship. Jesus at the helm. When feelings are invoked in us, we have to turn inward, as that is a wound that has not been dealt with. What we're not going to do is subcontract power to any human being over us. I learned this lesson very well. That's good. We're going to get back to that in just a second. I want to touch on that, right?
She almost made me shout.
Okay,
Yeah.
and Lena tried to correct that typo, and she goes R solely before Tig say something smart.
Yeah. She
Uh,
knew you were coming.
so Brian did not give our beauty of the week. So before I get into some more in-depth comments, I'm going to go ahead and say this first. Please click the like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Do like Charlotte Wilson did and join our page, our Queen3 and King Facebook page, our Twitter, our Instagram, our YouTube. Help a brother and sisters out if you don't mind. If you don't mind. If you don't mind. And so my beauty of the week last week, like Mika says, I do a beauty of the week every week, and there's generally at least a beauty to be found. Now, last week, or excuse me, on yesterday's show, last night's show, there were a few beauties to choose from and booties to choose from. One of them was, yeah, that's part of it. In this individual who I chose, it was because of her booty and not her beauty that I chose her. But anyway, so we had the likes of Nina Simone as a choice last night. We had Marilyn McCoo as a choice last night, and I don't think anybody could argue with her. She was back in '69 was considered one of the most beautiful women out there. However, I chose someone else because a woman that can sing to me, do something to me, and she was wearing this church dress at this festival, and her name is Mahalia Jackson. That was my beauty of the week. So she came out in this church dress, and I said, "Good cloud! Not only can she fix you some greens, she get clean, and she wear that dress like that." You need to go back and check out that episode. You need to watch Summer of Soul, and you'll see what I'm talking about. The dress was a salmon color. I even know that part. It was a salmon color.
Not salmon.
Okay.
So yeah,
Not
she was
salmon.
bad. Yeah, she was bad. And they had some little pleats in it. You know how them church dresses used to have their pleats in it?
I was like, oh my God.
All right, ladies said, come on, Miss Jackson. That's what I said. You know,
that's what he said.
Janet didn't come up with that.
Oh
my God, today.
Hey, folks, get down too. Charlotte says, we definitely need to surround ourselves with people who support and build you up, and you support and build up. That's a good point. You know,
right.
You know, I often say, if you like oranges, don't plant apple seeds. You know, so those plants you see, those seeds you plant are going to be what you harvest, what you sow, right?
Yeah.
What you sow is what you reap. So if you like apples, plant apple seeds. If you like oranges, plant orange seeds. If you like support, plant seeds of support. Simple as that. And then she also says negativity will sap you of your joy and creativity and life force quickly. Hey, when I feel it, I'm out.
Ooh,
I can't do it. It makes me physically ill. I guarantee you. Chastity, appreciate you for tuning in. And she says, we are in charge of our feelings. I think we all possess feelings that lay dormant inside that can be triggered by others. One thing I'm learning in therapy is what my triggers are and how to get to the root of why what someone said or did triggered certain emotions in me. And that is a valid point. It ties into what Grace said, right? We're not going to subcontract power to somebody else, right? You giving somebody else power over you, right?
Yeah.
So those two things are connected, and it leads me to this point. You know, what are the consequences of uncontrolled responses? What are the consequences of uncontrolled responses? And we'll just start with Nikki. What are the consequences? What are the prices that we have to pay when we don't control our response?
We could lose the relationship that we have with that individual. We could definitely use the relationship could change. It may not be as strong. The bond may not be as strong as what it was. That's one of the main things that we can lose, in my opinion.
Okay, so what it can cost us is loss. And I think you put that wherever you want to put it. Loss of. Exactly. That's what it can cost us. Loss of, fill in the blank.
Right.
Mika.
A couple things came to mind. Loss of relationship, loss of time, and guilt. You know, sometimes
that's good. Yeah.
When you react in a certain way or you let your feelings react for you, the consequences are you feeling bad because you reacted a way that you should not have acted, or you did something, or you said something, or you know hurt somebody's feelings because you were hurt. So yeah, I would say loss and guilt.
That's a good one. And guilt and shame are the two biggest weapons of the enemy, right? You know, so the Bible talks about the enemy and refers to him in a way that he's a roaring lion walking around seeking whom he may devour. However, if you have a relationship with Christ, right? We had a show before talking about relationship versus religion. You know that his power is imagined. It's not real, right?
Yeah.
He has no real teeth. So he walk around just roaring, trying to scare the hell out of you and getting you to react, right? So he has no power, but guilt and shame are his two biggest weapons, his two biggest tricks. And they are planted here in his number one battlefield, which is your mind. Right, you know, guilt, shame, and I'm gonna put it in. This is his territory right here, and if you don't protect it, you're in trouble. Lily.
I would have to agree with what Nikki and Mika both said. So loss of maybe some like a special relationship that you have with someone, so it can change the dynamic of that relationship. And I always say, when I've had to even coach people at work, loss of your brand. Do you want to be seen as that person every time you come into a room? So and that can carry into your life. I don't ever want to be seen as, oh, here she come with her negative self, or here she come to zap my energy. That type of person. So it can affect you all the way around.
Right. And the Lord and the word says, let not your heart be troubled. Right. That's the Lord's way of saying, don't give people the power to move you in that way. Yeah, don't let your heart be troubled. They at the end of the day, they are not your savior. They are not your judge. They are not your jury. They are not your executioner. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have people that you respect in your life, that you strategically, purposefully, intentionally try to gain some advice from and get their thoughts on what's taking place. However, you have already vetted these people and you know that they care for you, that they love you, that they have no hidden agenda, right? So you have to consider the source, and you have to have a trusted ally, a corner man, so to speak, that you can go to and talk to about that sort of thing. A couple of more comments. We got Raider Kev in the building saying, what up, Raider Kev? Appreciate you for joining in. And we'll go to a few more comments. After that, we'll be going to our segment, The Streets Are Talking. Lena said, what can this uncontrolled response cost?
Jail.
Okay.
Jail.
Loss of money. Loss of respect. Loss of love.
Yeah.
And more importantly, loss of you. You don't see now she done stumble across something. In fact, when you let other people's thoughts of you or what they do cause you to have an uncontrolled response, which is a reaction, right? An uncontrolled response, you can lose yourself, right?
Yeah.
And you can unwittingly validate everything they done said about you. Stroke of the pen. It has been said long ago that negative news travel faster than good news. Bad news travel faster than good news. So you can have lived 10,365 days of your life perfectly. And that one day, that's what everybody remembers. Grace says the consequences of uncontrolled responses could be two things: loss of relationships, or you could set up boundaries and restructure the relationship. Most people do not take kindly to boundaries. Now, boundaries are not barriers. There's a fine line. The Bible says to guard your heart, not harden your heart. And yes, she could go on and on because she preached. All right. So with that being said, we're going to take a quick breather. And we're going to touch the base of our segment called The Streets Are Talking. The Streets Are Talking. And now
I am official. Hello.
On you.
All right, so I got a couple stories that I wanted to hit y'all with today. this has been a hot one all over the web, all over, kids are going back to school. The cases are going up. So this conversation is really hot right now. So the COVID vaccine, some companies like Twitter, Disney, Google, Lyft, Facebook, and several others are requiring employees to get vaccinated before even returning to the office. What are your thoughts on companies requiring the vaccine? Do you think that's fair? Do you think that's the right move? Do you think it should be mandatory for all?
When you say all, what do you mean by all?
Everybody that's eligible to get it. Some people are even saying they need to take it a step further, and Biden needs to make it where it's mandatory to get the vaccine if you're able to. So what are y'all thinking?
Well, I'll go first and say that fair doesn't play into it to me. We grown at this point, right? And I'm not talking about kids and stuff, right? Because they're not. I don't even know if all of them are eligible right now. I could be wrong, but we're adults, right? And so it doesn't come. Fair isn't what it's about, right? It's legalities to me, right? And different states have different rules. You got such thing as right to work states, and all these other kinds of things, right? And so if it is legal for an employer to do it, I don't necessarily have anything against them for choosing to do that, right? It's their business, and they are in business to make money, right? We oftentimes be tripping on people, right? It starts in our community too, right? Where Black business owners and stuff, we always asking for a discount. We hear that all the time, right?
Yeah.
You're always tripping on people in business based on the fact that they're making money. That's what they went into business for. Who are we to begrudge them of that, right? If I go into business, I'm going into business to make money. That's what it's for. So I can't begrudge them of instituting policies and procedures that support their bottom line, right? That's not to say that as a business owner, I would do it, but I can't question them for doing it. They have their own reasons. In addition, as an employee, you have a choice as to whether or not you work there or not.
Right.
So if you're not with it,
that's what
you
I'm
can go somewhere else. Simple as that. And that's the hard, ugly truth. And that may not be soft enough for some folks, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
I guess.
Ladies, y'all have anything?
No, I totally agree with Ted with regards to that. They have to do what's best for their business and their liability of not, that they can have with issues like that. And people are also taking advantage of their employers by saying that they have COVID. As a matter of fact, there's a fireman in Dallas who lied.
I just heard about that.
Yes, and said that his wife had COVID. Then he turned around and said that the daughter had it. Then he turned around when he was supposed to go back to work and say he had it.
Oh, so he got 30 days off real quick. He got a bunch of money through sick pay for his family by doing that. And they were at a resort somewhere.
Wow.
And the police did an investigation, and they went through his bank statements and stuff and saw all the places where he had been, even to the Buc-ee's and Temple.
He was doing research. He was trying to find that medicine.
He was arrested.
Oh, yeah.
And he just got out of jail.
Yeah, that's fraud.
For fraud.
That's fraud.
Yeah, it is fraud. Yep.
So it's not, that's why they got to protect themselves. For that very reason.
Yeah, but I can, I'm not going to, just like I'm not going to begrudge the employers for requiring it, I'm not going to begrudge employees for saying, no, that's not what's up for me and my family. I don't believe in it. I think the vaccine was rushed. I think this, I think that. That's completely fair. But the work here, you got to have it. I'm sorry. Just like we had conversations earlier when this was first starting, the vaccine hadn't even been released yet. And we were having conversations about whether you would get it or not. And one of the things we talked about, I'm like, and this is where I hit our people hard. I asked them, I said, what if American Airlines requires it? What if all the airlines require it? You going to get it then?
Yeah, because they're ready to go.
I say jokers got so quiet. Even the cricket stopped talking because they were like, wait a minute, why y'all hear how quiet it got? Because they like, wait a minute now, you're playing. That ain't fair. It ain't about fair. those are businesses that have the choice to do whatever they want to do. And if they think based on their business model, it is best for us to say no passengers can fly if you're not vaccinated. That's up to them. Now, maybe Spirit or Blue Jet or Southwest or Delta may say have a different policy and you can go fly over there. But if an airline says, Alaskan Air says, sorry, we're only flying vaccinated passengers. Take your business elsewhere if you don't like it. That's just what it is,
Mickey, you have anything
to say? You I think you're scared. I don't think your employer listening to this. Look at it.
No, I am not scared. Because I'm not scared because I work in a school district that has, we've run several vaccine clinics to make, to help and encourage our employees to get vaccinated. So again, can nobody hold anything against a business owner who is looking out for the bottom line? At the end of the day, I need to be able to feed my family, and you need to be able to feed your family. And if you can't do that because you're not vaccinated or whatever the case may be, that is their business. What we have a choice to do is not to get the vaccine and move on to the next employer.
Right. Anybody else got anything on that particular topic?
No.
Lily, you got another one for us?
Yes, and this one kind of.
Before you get to it, I just asked if you had one. I didn't say go. Paul said.
That's what we not going to do.
Always say, what do we miss?
Don't subcontract.
I am the captain of my ship.
Don't subcontract the power out to me.
Yeah, I am the captain of my ship. Keep going.
Where that mute button at? Ben, text me on how to mute somebody out. Paul, what did I do?
Paul come in every week with
go to YouTube and start at the beginning and you'll figure it out.
Because we're not going back through the show, Paul.
Right, for you. Ben says, wow, that's wild. He was talking about that fireman story.
Yeah.
Archie Red. Hey, we appreciate you, Archie. You supported us last night. Appreciate you for having us here. He said, agree 1,000%. Great points. Gray says, my company has made it mandatory, but there is a loophole around that. Talk to us about that loophole. And Charlotte Wilson said, on the flip side of that topic, I've seen 2 churches that said people who want to wear masks cannot attend their church. I have. In fact, I've seen on that point, Charlotte, I've seen businesses who said you can't wear a mask in here. And they've also said if you're vaccinated, you can't shop here. This week, I heard on a radio station, the all sports radio station I listen to in Dallas, KTCK, 1310 The Ticket, and 96.7 FM. I'm trying to get that money. They said, hey, if you got the vaccine, you can't get here. So anti-vaxxers are a thing.
Wow.
Yeah, they may be the same people as the flat earthers. I don't know, but they some people.
Maybe.
And Grace says, LOL. Charlotte Wilson says, yes, I've seen that too. Paul Caraway said, I'm scared because sometimes I have to work with guys fresh out of the pen. Wow.
What does that do?
What does that have to do with
anything? And hey, get this what I like about it. He said fresh out the pen. See, let me explain something to you young folks out there. It's a certain conversation that used to take place in the 70s. And when they say fresh out somewhere, that's a whole different language.
Yes, walked out.
A whole different language. Sheesh. All right, baby Queen, give us your next topic.
All right, so we're going to make this one a little bit lighter. So Coco, Ice-T's wife,
is that why you say it lighter? Because what color she is?
No,
that is not why. So their family has
lighter in more ways than one.
Right. That their family has been in the news a lot from where they were having the picture of Ice-T's daughter, kind of making fun of the way she looks. I'm not touching that because I don't talk about folks' children. So, so this was another thing. So this week, Coco spoke to US Weekly. And she still breastfeeds her 5-year-old daughter.
Girl.
So,
5.
She's 5.
Yeah.
So, and I mean breastfeed like latch. She's not, it's not pumping, putting it in a cup. She's latching.
She said in a cup. Nigga, if I could squeeze my titty milk out and put it in a cup and you drink it, you damn so too big.
Yeah, but she is still breastfeeding, and she said it's a very special bond between her and her daughter, and she will never deny her that bond. Yeah. If so, people are like, after she didn't elaborate on saying that, is there an age limit? She just said she would never deny her that bond. And she was like, my daughter loves chicken nuggets, she loves steak, but every once in a while she wants a little
wash it down with some good old breast milk.
She said she wants a little snack from mommy and enjoys that bonding time. So, y'all, I think this is a touchy subject for some, because some people they go hard behind breastfeeding and believe that you should do it, and that's what you should do. And I get it. I know that that's healthy for a child, but should there be an age limit on the breastfeeding? I'm talking about 5 years old. Do you know how big a 5-year-old is? And you sitting up breastfeeding them. They have teeth. They eat meals with you, but then say, "Hey, can I get a drink?"
Right.
So, what are y'all thoughts on that?
Well, I think it does have to be an age limit for it, because if she's doing it at 5 and she said I understand the bonding time. I don't know if that, because I never breastfed my kids, but I know that there is a bond, that's bonding time for the moms that do that or did do that. But I don't think that the baby should still be 5 and latching onto her mom's breast.
Yeah.
And I don't think that she should say, well, however long she wants to do it, because what if she's 16 and she still want to?
And that's what I said. Like, if she continues to say, I want to do that, are you still just going to do that? 7, 8 years old?
Are you saying, what if she decide to pump it in a cup? Is that all right?
Well, that was some of the points that people are making. Some people were saying that she would rather her have breast milk than regular milk.
Yeah, then she could,
put it in something. And put it in a cup.
And some babies won't. Well, she's not really a baby, but some babies won't take it in a cup.
Maybe try to put the mug in the freezer so it'll be frosty and then put it in there.
But my thing is, if she wanted to do it that way, I really wouldn't see a problem with her putting it in something. If she wants to store it and that's the only drink she milks. The only drink she only milk she drinks.
I hope that's the only milk she drinks.
Only milk she drinks. But I'm talking about when you have her straight latching on
Here's my only problem. I'm not gonna knock anybody. If they want to do when that baby is 8, 9, or 10, that's when that baby in the Lord. Because you got to do what you got to do. You feel what's best for your baby. But here's the problem. What if that baby's at school and wants to breastfeed and ask for food at school? I'm just thinking because
that was one of the points, Mika. That was one of the points, because it was a teacher in the comments talking. She was like, "I'm not. If your child come up to me and ask him to breastfeed, we got problems."
Because sometimes when a child wants to breastfeed, they act a fool until they get it.
Right.
Yeah. If they're still breastfeeding, they're gonna act a fool. Or if a child, is, you do that to make sure your child is getting nourishment and all that stuff. At 5, if they whole eating, ain't they getting what they need?
Yeah.
And that's what she said. She said she loves a good steak, but afterwards, sometimes she just want a little snack from her.
And number 3, find another way to bond, mama. That's where you come in as the mama.
Yeah, that's
find another way to bond. Having a child at 5 right there with you. I want to have my baby with me at 5, but I don't want them latched on me.
Yeah.
But that's just, hey, to each their own.
All right. So, again, this is a touchy subject, and I'm like this. I feel the.
You still want to breastfeed on mama?
I'm gonna be quiet.
Yeah, you better.
You better.
Let me just say this. I'm somebody who, I want people to operate within their rights. Just like I said, a business has a right to do what they think is best for their business. A mother has the right to do what's best for child, right? However, there are some consequences when you make those decisions, right? Such as the ridicule and the critique and that kind of thing that you're getting, and you may be setting your kid up for. But that is your decision. What's too old? I don't know, but I know in our culture, if you ain't walk at that 1-year-old mark, if you ain't walking well on your way to getting potty trained and off that ball and pacify and stuff like that, you finna start getting, we finna start ripping you, like, boy, your stuff smell like a grown man. You need to go to the toilet, so, so for our culture, it's really an issue sometimes, but, to each his own. Kevin Redican, we appreciate your support, sir. He goes, year. Archie Red did a couple of faces and he says, oh no, she tripping. We're gonna need her to pee in a cup. I'm sorry.
Wow. Not get a cup.
Yeah, he trying to see if she on them drugs.
Yeah, I see what she doing.
Let's see. Oh, this is going to be some fun. When I say the comment section is like blowing up.
Are they?
Wait a minute. I skipped one. Okay, Ben says this girl be saying cheers to iced tea with breast milk. I told you, Ben, you might have missed this comment earlier, but I said you put the BS in BS3 rating. Archie Red said, Kevin Redican, thanks for coming through. KFD's good people. Hey, Archie, I appreciate the referral, man.
Thank you.
Kevin says, as a guy, I can't produce. I have no say. But if you can produce it and they want it, let me have it rather than it be fun for God. Well, there is a market for breast milk out there. I assure you.
There is.
If I'm not mistaken, you can actually buy it on Amazon and eBay and other places.
You can.
Let's see, Keisha Witherspoon, appreciate you coming in, fam.
Hey, Auntie Keisha.
Because there are other healthy ways to bond with a 5-year-old besides breastfeeding.
Yes.
Kia says she's a good one because I want this boy off me so bad. I'm not going past 2 with this breastfeeding.
Yes.
Let's see. Archie again says Kevin Redican, the child is 5. Yeah, so 5 years old, bro. Okay, I can't get this next comment. This is a family show. We can't say that comment.
Me too now.
Okay, what the hell? Coco, Ray Robbie said, Coco, no ma'am, too damn much.
Yeah.
And then Kevin, who is still on one, says ice cream breast milk.
Oh, man.
Yikes.
Let's see. I see. I'm going to treat him like ain't weed. I'm going to start reading this stuff. Archie says she old enough to color, showed enough for a cup. And Robbie Gray says, ooh, frosty. Kevin talking about with the icicles. Wow, they are going in. Ms. Witherspoon says, what happened to age appropriate bonding? There are stages to development.
It is.
Very true.
Yeah. Sis Tabitha Dawkins says, as a breastfeeding mom, the bond is indescribable and the health aspects are amazing. I personally, though, would not nurse my child that long. Right?
Good points, Tabitha.
And Archie commented on Keisha's comments and he says facts. Kevin, wow. See, I told you, got some milk, got some milk in your beer. That's not milk, partner. Not that I'm against it. Not that I'm against it.
Gross.
Let's see. Ashley says weaning is hard. Sailor's almost 2, and we're still weaning. But to play devil's advocate, there are other countries who do it longer. But 5, not for me, to each their own. See, for me, this is, and we'll get to some more comments, but this is not the first I've heard of older kids still breastfeeding. And 5 is not the oldest I've heard it from. Again, the radio, there's all sports radio station I listen to. They don't just talk sports; they talk life. And there are kids much older that do it. This is just the famous one that broke the internet.
Yeah, I've seen one that did her son was
8.
8. Yeah. 8.
Wow.
Kevin,
but he was tying his own shoes and then getting up in her lap.
Wow. Kevin Redican says, parent talk, I'm loving it. Then he goes, we're pouring up in the comments.
It's a year.
Yeah, Diane says I'm late, but hey, family, how you doing?
Hey.
Hey,
And
Diane.
he's gonna get the red solo cup out. Wow.
That's what we're gonna have at the next party. Breast milk.
Right. Hey, that being.
I'm bringing nurse.
I'm gonna mix mine with some of that Kahlua.
That's
his name, and I say with no shame, breast milk is delicious.
Is it?
No argument here.
I didn't say, but that's what I said. If you want to store it, but this latches thing,
But let me just say this: y'all know that I keep my grandbaby, Chastity's daughter, during the week, and she doesn't have. I don't have no breast milk to give her here because she won't take it if it's not from her mama. You know, she won't take it if it's in the freezer or any of that kind of stuff. You thought she's not gonna take it. So every afternoon, after every evening or afternoon when she get ready to take a nap, she'll come and she'll say Coco, and then she'll touch on my breast. She'll say Milkies. I said no, Coco don't have Milkies.
Wow.
I said Mommy has Milkies, and then she'll come to me and she'll say Coco Milkies, and then before I can say, she said no, Mama. Yeah, Mommy has Milkies.
When I get married again, that's what I'm gonna say when I get home. Milkies, man.
This is too much. Go to the next thing.
I gotta finish these comments, and we'll get back to the topic. Ben said, "Take the girl to the park if you want to bond." Got some more solo cups. Kevin Redigan said, "I have 3, and my wife couldn't produce long enough and was sad." But bottle time was my time, and I loved it. Awesome.
Oh,
I love that.
He said 2 was the limit with the bottle. Wow, it's some cinnamon. Wow. Yes, it tastes like cereal milk. Yeah.
Chastity.
All right. Well, that was another edition.
The streets are talking.
All right, and to wrap this up, we got about 10 minutes or so left. And I want to pose this question because somebody said this. I saw it on Facebook or something like this, right? And they said, quit expecting you out of others.
That was me.
Now, again, we are in a situation to where we are talking about feelings and in your feelings and how much power we give people for getting us in our feelings, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to pose that question starting with Coco. Should we expect us and what we would do out of others?
Absolutely not.
Why not? We doing it. We think it's a good idea. We think it's a good idea, a good way to be. But why should we not expect us out of others?
Everybody's not going to do that. They just don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you just have to, and that's okay.
Right.
But okay. Not everybody.
Mika, should we expect us out of others?
One of the hardest lessons I ever learned, and I think Mama hit me with it when I was about 23 or 24, and she said, "Biba, stop expecting for folks to act like you." Mm-hmm. Basically, stop expecting for people to act or choose their actions the way you would choose yours. Mm-hmm. So one of the hardest lessons you will learn is when you stop expecting that, feelings will stop being hurt. Because when you go in with no expectation,
I was gonna go there. Yeah.
Your feelings can't be hurt. Mm-hmm. So and then another point is when you don't explain your expectations, your feelings still can't be hurt, because if you don't lay that ground rule up, those ground rules and foundations of expectations, what I expect, what I want, and what I need from you, I can't be hurt. But if you don't expect from others, feelings don't get as involved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, Lily, on you.
Yeah, Mika took one at my point, really. I do agree. You can't expect you from others. And I think that when you start to expect you from others, that's why your feelings do start to get hurt. Mm-hmm. And we kind of toe that line of always saying, why did she do me like that? I would never do her like that.
Right.
And that explains exactly. I say it all the time. Why would she do me like that? I wouldn't do her like that. Or this is what I did, but I can't expect for that person to handle the situation the same way that I would handle it. So.
Right. Okay, cool. I'm gonna give my comments in just a moment, but I want to catch up on some of the chat room comments. And Let's see, Natasha Stevenson, that's a new commenter. Thank you for being on board and tuning in. She goes, you will be disappointed, right? If you expect you out others, you will be disappointed. Yep. Kevin Redican says, not everyone was raised in the same household.
Right.
100% correct. He goes, one of the life lessons that I had to learn.
It was hard.
Yeah. And he also says, also can't reason with crazy. Right. And Angela Hunter on board.
Hey, Angela.
What did I miss? What do we need to congratulate her for? It was either a birthday that was just passed. So happy birthday to you, Angela.
Happy birthday.
Sorry that your husband is Officer Hunter, but
I called him the
you were young. You didn't know no better. No, that's some good people there. Cousin Diane says, I don't expect us out of others, but I do expect people to do what's right and do the right thing.
Yes.
And Kevin made another good point. He goes, but communication is key, though.
Key.
And he also said one of the most needed in the mix to make cement for a good foundation. He's talking about communication.
Right.
One of the most needed in the mix to make a good foundation.
That's good.
And for me, expecting us out of others, of course, it is a lesson that I also had to learn, right? That people aren't going to do what I'm going to do. And I'm not going to do what I do expecting anything from them, right? So for me, it's not a matter of not having any expectations, but for me, it's about properly setting expectations, right? So as a relationship builder, and what I consider to be one of my strengths, I try to properly set expectations, right? Too often we have these friendships or relationships or whatever where we do not set guidelines or boundaries or properly set expectations and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking. This is how I see it. This is how whatever, right? And sometimes we got to put a timeout on our hot girl summers or our cigar bar nights and have some real conversations and set rules for when life happens. Because life is going to happen. And if you're not prepared and you hadn't talked about this, how we going to deal with this situation in general, then somebody's feelings may get hurt and say, I thought this, I thought that. No, you didn't think it, you assumed it because you never had that conversation. So just like my man said, Kevin said, communication is key. Communicate, properly set expectations, right? You're not going to get people to be us, right?
No.
But then again, here's another side to that. If you can't get you out of others, maybe you need, again, we talked about a shelf life and expiration date and stuff like that.
Okay.
If you're not getting you out of others or something similar or the same morals and values, then maybe you need to change those others.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. And a few final conversations, and then we'll go, comments, and then we'll go around the horn to give our final thoughts. Charlotte says we should not compare ourselves to others. God made each of us uniquely with gifts and blessings meant for us. We need to be respectful of differences and do our part as a component of the body of Christ. That's a great comment. Grace says you can't expect you from others. I've learned that what I want / expect, I have to give to myself first. That has helped me not be hurt. Learn this in therapy. And then H-Rap says I almost forgot Team Leo. I could not have read that comment.
Yes, indeed. It is our season.
All right. So with that being said, we're going to go around the horn and wrap up yet another edition of Queen 3 and King. And we'll start with the baby queen, Lily, and let you give your final thoughts on the topic and your feelings.
Yes, I just always say, protect your peace. So just like Ted said, he brought a good point. If you feel like others are pulling you in your feelings or you're always in your feelings around these specific people, remove yourself. I swear life is so much better over here. Peace. Be still.
Oh my God.
Wow. All right. Wow, I don't even know how to read it. I really don't.
I'm for real.
Yeah, I get it.
I love it over here.
We're gonna leave it right there.
You want me to know that?
Yeah, go ahead. It's not you, man.
A couple things. I love when we talk about feelings and I hear therapy and counseling and reaching out to wise counsel. Like, I love to hear that. So that's one thing, that I love that the people who watch and support us do. They advocate for counseling and therapy. And number two, another life lesson that I had to learn. was from Anthony Baldwin, because I went in the house going off one day. And he said, Mika, I'm gonna let you settle down, then I need to talk to you. And I was like, no, I am mad. And he was like, it didn't move him. He went in his room. 30 minutes later, he came back. And you know, I'm the crier of the family. I'm crying at this point. I done went from mad to crying. He said, I know you're about to make a decision about whatever the situation I was crying about. But he said, do not make permanent decisions off of temporary feelings, Mika.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So as we go through life, always know we're going to run into horrible situations that make us have horrible feelings for that moment. Mm-hmm. Never make a decision right there in that moment. Stay in your, stay grounded. Hey, walk away. Get with your feelings, mm-hmm. and then make your decision later. So as we leave and close, mine is never make permanent decisions off of temporary feelings.
Mm-hmm. Right. All right.
Yeah.
Nicole.
I just want y'all to remember also that our feelings are definitely our personal responsibility. Because without us taking accountability for ourselves, we won't be able to make the right decisions about the situation. You know what I mean? About regarding the situation at hand. So it's very important that we realize that that's our responsibility. That our own feelings are our responsibilities and nobody else's. And their own feelings are their feelings. And that's all it is to it.
Right. All right. And before I give my comments, I just want to go ahead and state that we appreciate the support, everybody that was in the chat room, everyone who was watching but chose not to comment. We appreciate you as well. But you are included. We appreciate your support as well. Join us again next week, Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Don't know what the topic is going to be, but what I do know, this is another topic that we need to, Mika looking crazy right now. This is another topic that we need to do a part 2 on, right? And maybe we talk more about our responses and how do we maintain those, right? I think we're all in agreement on what needs to happen. So now let's talk about how we make that happen, maybe in the part 2 of In Your Feelings. And for me, one of the things that I want you to remember is that your feelings are created by your thoughts, right? It's your thought first and then your feelings, right? Yep. And other people don't cause or control them, right? Your feelings are controlled by your thoughts, and other people don't cause or control them. It is still on you. At the end of the day, all my kids will tell you, they're all adults right now, when they come talking about what somebody else did, it ain't about that for me. What you gonna do? How you gonna handle it? I don't care because you can't control that, right? Yeah. You know, one of the notes that I had for myself on this topic was the serenity prayer, right? And about knowing the difference between the things you can control and the things you can't, and the courage to do something about it, you know. So again, and you can't control other folks. You can control what you want to do. And again, thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of Queen3 and King. Say bye to you.
Bye.
Are we smiling or what are we doing?
The Queen Bee has arrived.
You know. We'll show out then. So I'm gonna start with both of y'all's hands right here.
Look for my thumb.
Look for your thumb.
Like